Welcome back to Bully Ball, a San Francisco 49er podcast. Today we have the 49ers versus the Rams, week 8 matchup at Levi South, SoFi Stadium. It is an away game, but should be more like a home game. And, this is kind of the 49ers season on the line here. Um, the team is reeling at the moment. It's a must-win game, in my opinion, before they head into the bye week and hope to get healthy for the stretch run of the season. How you doing today?
Doing good. Wishing I wasn't at work on duty, but still wanted to hop on and talk with the people. And my background's ugly behind me, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and before we hop into the pregame primer, just wanted to say Kurt Warner put out a great video breaking down the 49ers offense and Jimmy G. If you haven't seen it, look it up on YouTube. Great breakdown of what is Jimmy's fault and what's the play calling's fault. It was an eye opener. Definitely check it out. Did you check it out by chance?
I've been seeing a lot of stuff from Twitter. A lot of Niner fans on Twitter have been talking about it, but I haven't actually watched the video itself yet.
Yeah, it was really good. I definitely recommend it. Let me pull this up here. 1 second. All right. So as you could see here from David Lombardi, 49ers inactives for this game. Kyle Juszczyk, Eric Armstead, Debo Samuel, Dre Greenlaw, Jawan Jennings, Jason Verrett, and Kamoko Toure. So, that's a lot of talented players that make a huge impact on the 49ers. Um, on offense and Dre Greenlaw and Eric Armstead on defense, but how you feeling heading into this game with these people inactive?
Yeah, it's unfortunate because, like you said, Eric Armstead kind of been expected to be out. Is what it is. Dre Greenlaw, though, being out, that's going to be a huge loss because Oren Burks and Flanagan Fowles are definitely a step or two below Greenlaw and Aziz Al-Shire. So those two guys, you're going to see a drop off there. And then Jason Verrett, too, it's sounding like he was getting on his way to possibly playing this week. I would assume they probably are just waiting, though, until after the bye week. So you're going to have who you going to have playing corner, outside corner? You're going to Womack, Demo Lenore. Those two guys have obviously been struggling these past 2 weeks. So it's going to be unfortunate. Last time the Rams played, looks like their offense was kind of getting the ball moving a little bit more. They're going to have Van Jefferson back, one of their decent receivers. He's pretty good. So it's going to be a dogfight, we just need the players to step up because, like you said, this is a big game. We've lost 2 weeks in a row. If you make that 3 weeks going into the bye, that's going to be bad. You're going to be 3-5 like we were last year. And Matt Mayoko said too, he was like, you went 3-5 last year and you barely made the playoffs at the end of week, what was it, 18 or 16, whatever it
Yeah, it was
was.
the final week of the season.
Yeah, against the Rams on that Ambry Thomas interception. If you're the 49ers, you do not want to be in that situation again. And you dropping these games, these easy teams, the Broncos, you should beat the Falcons, you should beat the Chiefs. But you should have beaten the Bears. Now when it comes to the inner division games, you need to win them. Like we said, we almost need to win out if we really want to make the playoffs. It's just a huge game. Take this momentum. If you get the win into the bye week, and then hopefully build off it. I think we have the Chargers coming out of the bye, so that's going to be a pretty big game. This is a big one.
Yeah, and I had said, I believe it might have been prior to the season, but I had said I think the 49ers have to go 6-0 in the division to make the playoffs this year. And with these losses to these teams, that's proving to be true because right now you have Seattle sitting in front, surprisingly. Um, but it's going to be a tough game. The 49ers do get a little lucky because the Rams aren't really good at running the ball. Their O line isn't the best. They do get their center back this week, but they get a little lucky there because they've been struggling bad against the run. Um, Against the pass, they get Van Jefferson back. They still have Allen Robinson. Hasn't played good, but he's a decent receiver. You can't cover Cooper Cup. He's gonna get his. So you gotta make them make some mistakes. You gotta stuff the run because you're playing a team that cannot run the ball. Um, get some turnovers. We haven't seen many turnovers in the recent weeks from the defense, and today is the day the offense needs to step up. We said it every single week, but you're down your star receiver. Somebody, and I mean anybody, needs to step up. You have all these weapons, you have all this talent on the offense. This week, you need somebody to step up and just take over the games like Debo did last year for the team. So, will it be McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, a multitude of them? Maybe it's an underrated guy. Maybe Danny Gray busts one off or something. Um, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, somebody needs to step up. What are you expecting from the offense today?
It's you just never know. I don't even want to give a prediction because you can just never tell with this team. You know what I mean? I'm hopefully you would hope that you can see CMC kind of just take over because the reps that he did get in this last game, you could tell that he's going to have like an effect. He's a step up
Yeah,
on Jeff Wilson. Each run looked like it was going to bust a long one. Even the reception, he's put stress on those linebackers, safeties, DBs. Um, so you would hope that he's going to actually now he'll get a full workload. Um, George Kittle, he's been getting hot these last two games. So he has to continue that. You know what I mean? It's not hopefully he has to continue that. And same with Brandon Ayuk. He's been going off these last two games, and obviously you're going to need that more than ever now. Uh, and this yeah, like our dad said, today is a must win. I agree because the pressure is rising on Shanahan and the coaching staff. If you like, at first, it kind of starts out with the fans talking about it. Then you see some media talking about it a little bit. And then now it's even getting to like Matt Mayoko level. You know what I mean? Matt Mayoko, to me, is like the highest like official 49ers reporter. And now he's even saying, yeah, like the coaching isn't there. They need to
yeah,
step up the coaching. The talent's on the team, but the coaching is just not there. They're getting out coached. I think he said we're getting outscored in the third quarter, 49 to like 14 or something. And he's like, that's the other coaches at halftime making adjustments, and our coach is not. Um, of course, you have those early like 1 year, like first year coaches. The tight ends coach Brian Fleury, Leonard Hankerson, I think is the wide receivers coach name. He's a first year coach. Mike McDaniel leaves, but still, if Shanahan's this guru, you need to step up and show that you're this guru because you're an offense. You're known as like an offensive head coach, and for some reason, it's always our defense that is known to be the best in the league. It's not our offense. You know what I mean? How many times have you heard
yeah,
our offense be the best one in the league, even in the NFC in general? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Never. And you have the star players, so this is a big game, big game.
yeah. So your 49ers wide receiver room for the game today: Brandon Ayuk, Ray McLeod, Danny Gray, Willie Snead, and Tay Martin. So, you know, um, the only one I really trust with the ball out of that wide receiver room, obviously, is Brandon Ayuk at the moment. Um, that's rough, man.
Yeah.
49ers have all the running backs active this week. You have Jordan Mason up, Tyrion Davis Price, Jeff Wilson, and CMC. Um, I think they have all the tight ends up as well. You have 4 tight ends up or 3. So I think they're going to go run heavy and, play action the whole game. But, man, somebody needs to make a play on that
Is this
offensive
going to be
line.
Croft's season debut? Or no, he played in week 1, but is he back for this week?
I saw something.
Because if he is, that I mean, obviously it's going to happen either way, but expect to see Ross Dwelly or Charlie Warner at fullback with Juszczyk being out. I
Yeah.
personally think that Juszczyk being out is going to have a pretty significant impact on this offense because that guy does a lot for us, even just in the run game. But you also see it in the pass game a little bit too. He brings a factor that just a mismatch on a linebacker or even a D line if they try, like a D end if they try to cover him. So I think Juszczyk being out is going to have a decent impact on this game, which is
Yeah,
unfortunate for us.
and speaking on use check, it's unfortunate he isn't used more, you know.
Yeah,
Whenever he is used, the dude, picks up first downs, he gets yards, whether it's running, receiving, he does it all, blocking. Um, it's unfortunate. Wish he got more usage. Um,
yeah,
you
I agree.
know, I was watching the games earlier today, the London game specifically. A lot of 49ers, former 49ers in those games playing well. Kawan Williams had the pick to end the game. And the 49ers let all
DJ
these people
Jones.
walk. Yeah, DJ Jones, Jonas Griffith was making plays.
Um,
Jermichael
Even in
Hasty
this
did
game,
nothing.
yeah,
But
the Dolphins game though, Trent Sherfield, he was on the team last year. That dude's actually like making an impact. He's catching balls, almost touchdowns. Like he did nothing for us last year, if you remember. So it's just
yeah,
weird to see him produce now.
it is weird. A lot of these players that the 49ers let walk produce, but they didn't on the team because they weren't given a chance. It's just an interesting thing, to see. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Another one, 49ers did elevate D tackle T.Y. McGill, the guy that went off against the 49ers in the preseason. I think he had, what, 2 sacks, 3 sacks in that game?
Mm-hmm.
But the 49ers' interior run defense has been horrendous this past couple of weeks without Kinlaw and Armstead. So, you can't expect much from T.Y. McGill, but hopefully we see it translate into something because we need as much help on that interior D line as we can get. So
Yeah,
him being elevated, might be just because we don't have bodies, but maybe it's a sign of something. What do you think about him?
yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm excited to see him play because, like you said, he destroyed us in the preseason. I think we
Yeah.
called him mini Aaron Donald because that dude was just fucking destroying us somehow.
Yeah.
Uh, and like you said, our interior run defense has been porous, piss poor, whatever you want to call it, just bad. So hopefully he can step in. He seems like a kind of like a shorter, stocky dude than like what we're used to having, like an Armstead or a Kinlaw. He seems a lot shorter but broad, kind of like a DJ Jones. So I'm excited if he gets an opportunity. I'm excited to see him play. Hopefully he can do something.
Yeah, hopefully because we need the help. Um,
Yeah.
who is your bully of the week prediction?
Oh. My first go-to instant thought was George Kittle, but I feel like I've said him at least twice already this year, if not more. So I'm not going to say George Kittle. Uh, I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball and say Nick Bosa. He had a terrible game last week. Yeah, I think he had 1 sack, but he gave up that touchdown on the end around. He was being undisciplined, lined up offsides twice, 2 plays in a row, which is unacceptable. But I think he's gonna get it back together this week. I think he's gonna snap back into shape and show his All Pro self. So I'm gonna say Nick Bosa, uh, playing the Rams. He usually does good against the Rams. So I'll say 1 regular sack and a strip sack from Nick Bosa. They're down, their tackle Noteboom out for the season. Um, so I'd expect Nick Bosa to get some work, get some solid pressures, and like I said, get a sack and a strip sack this game.
I like it. I'm gonna go with a kind of an underrated one. Um, that you wouldn't expect. I'm gonna say Drake Jackson. Been seeing an uptick in his playing time, and he's been making an impact. Um, not a starter, so maybe he doesn't have a crazy stat line, But I think he's going to get a sack in this game. He's been around the ball making plays. I think we see a sack, maybe a couple pressures on the quarterback. Um, he's developing well from just the eye test throughout the season so far. So I'm going Drake Jackson.
I agree. That's a good one. Like you said, underrated. He has been getting a lot more usage. They like to. It seems like they kind of like to use him on the interior. It's like a little interior rush, kind of like a fast package NASCAR package. So I think you could definitely see a big game from him too. Should be interesting.
Yeah, most definitely. I think I saw some earlier in the week that it's looking like I think it was 56 or 61% of ticket sales were to 49er fans. So it should be at least a 50-50 split in the stadium. Fake noise, so it's still going to be loud for the Rams as expected. But what is your score prediction for this game? And if you're watching, leave your score prediction in the comments.
Score prediction, man, it's just so hard with this team because I don't know what defense or offense we are going to get from them. You know what I mean? What are we going to get the defense from last week? I know you're playing the Chiefs, but that defense did not put up any fight.
Yeah.
They were getting just cut through like warm butter. You know what I mean? Just bad, looked terrible. So, and then the offense, same with the offense. You're going to put up 14 points again. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
especially with no Debo. This one's tough because I want to say that we'll bounce back, after two tough losses. But I think the Rams are probably going to get the better of us. I'm going to say 21 to 17 Rams.
21-17.
Yeah, I've been giving too much credit to the Niners. With our past predictions. I don't think I predicted us to lose once, but I think the Rams are gonna. We've gone 7 games in a row in the regular season of beating them. I think they're
Yeah.
gonna answer back this week, and they're gonna start getting on track. But I think we're gonna drop 3 straight going into the bye.
This one's tough for me because, this is a game the 49ers must win without having their best players available. Um, and that's what a good team would do. A good team, a playoff worthy team, would come out, win this game, get to the bye, get healthy, ready to go. I don't think the 49ers are a good team this year, if I'm being honest, from what I've seen. No matter what anybody says, they've lost to 3 bad teams. And that's just facts. That's a fact of the matter. Um, Rams aren't the best team. They're a middle of the pack team as well. But with the 49ers this banged up, they're probably going to score on the first drive because that scripted drive always works and then the offense falls off. So I'm going to say the 49ers will score 10 points and the Rams will score 20. So 20-10 because the offense is horrendous. The 49ers offense is so bad that I am tired of predicting them to score over 20 points because they're just not good on offense. And I think the defense does well today, but I think it's another one of those games where the defense is on the field so often that a play breaks, they get tired. Um, and by the third, fourth quarter, they just can't do anything. They've been on the field too long. So 20-10 Rams, and I hope I'm very wrong because I want the 49ers to win, but it's just they haven't shown me anything this season to be excited for.
Yeah, I'm gonna change my score prediction actually. 13-20 Rams. I think we
13 to
score
20.
once, like you said, on that scripted drive. We score, and then we'll get into the red zone or at least into the Rams territory a couple times, but just get field goals as usual. We
Yeah.
don't score touchdowns, obviously. We only like to fucking score field goals, which is ridiculous. But
Yeah, and
13-20,
the person on the 49ers that scores on the Rams
yeah,
isn't playing in the game. So, without Debo Samuel, and Debo always rips off crazy long like catch and runs to score on the Rams. Nobody else on the team going to do that. So, um, yeah, that's how I see it. I keep up the faith. You know, you got to be realistic at some point. The 49ers are bad this year, and it's a fact of the matter. You know what I mean? Um, I still love the team, still want them to be great. They just haven't shown it themselves. So that's why we give our prediction the way we do.
Yeah, and um, until we're proven wrong, obviously our mom says keep the faith, boys, which we are. Like Joseph said, we still love the team, still want them to do great. But from what they've shown us, there's no reason to give biased predictions and expect a lot from the team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You know what I mean? Like, what have they done to show us through 8 games that we have a good offense? Can you tell me one thing?
Exactly.
Because
No.
I can't. All I
Uh,
remember is seeing a bunch of field goals and a touchdown on the first drive. Um,
yeah, they look great on the scripted drive. That's the
yeah.
the one good thing.
So until they show us something else, I'm not gonna say that we're gonna score a bunch of points or anything. Until I'm proven wrong, then that's just gonna be my prediction.
Our dad says my bully is CMC. And if the 49ers do win today, I do believe it's because Christian McCaffrey does Debo like things where he
Yeah.
breaks off some crazy, long catch and run, or he busts through the middle for a long run. Some of that nature will happen if the 49ers do win today, because the 49ers offense is so bad this year at keeping a drive going. They get down the field easy, but then they go 3 and out, or they take a sack, push them out of field goal range. It's such a spotty, inconsistent offense this year that you really need that big play for the team to score. Because if you don't get it, you're not going to score with this team this year.
Something that's interesting too is the last time the Rams played, they played Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey put up 69 rushing yards and 89 receiving yards on them in that game. So it's going to be interesting to see how he factors in. I think that Shanahan's really going to make it an emphasis to get him the ball. They say they don't hear much of anything from the outside, but I'm sure they hear a couple things about like, oh wow, they gave up a lot. You know what I mean? And I think that Shanahan usually tries to emphasize the new newcomers or something like that. I would say so. I think Shanahan's really going to make an emphasis to get CMC the ball this week. Yeah, and he should be because he's a top 5 running back in the league. And if you're an offensive guru who can craft up these crazy run plays, then he needs to be getting the ball a lot.
Yeah.
But at the same
Um,
time, also don't forget about Jeff Wilson because we don't want to overuse CMC to where he gets hurt. And Jeff Wilson's a more than capable back between the tackles, the third and shorts maybe. Um, so I think it's key to find a good groove between the both of them.
and speaking of Jeff Wilson, the 49ers have been fielding trade calls for Jeff Wilson, which I think is kind of dumb. Um, we've seen Ty Davis Price at this moment. He ain't ready to play. Unfortunately, he's not hitting the holes. He's not seeing the field well. Um, we don't know what Jordan Mason is because they haven't given him the ball. So if you get rid of Jeff Wilson, you have CMC and hopefully Elijah Mitchell when he's back after the bye. But at this point, you really don't know what you have in Elijah Mitchell either. And both of these running backs have an injury history. So, you know, Jeff Wilson had that one off, like weird injury that happened standing up from the chair or whatever. But overall, he's been the healthier back that the 49ers have had. So I think it's pretty dumb to get rid of him unless you're calling it quits on the season already and you're trying to just get some picks back for next year. But we'll see what they end up doing with that. Um, but yeah,
One thing
who
that's kind of unfortunate, or go ahead, I'll touch on this after.
who do you think? is the receiver that steps up. Like, which receiver do you think makes the biggest impact outside of Brandon Ayuk this week? So of the
That's what
other
I
guys
thought
I
you were gonna
mentioned,
say. Outside of IU,
yeah,
um,
because you know
I mean,
you,
who's gonna play the outside receiver? Danny Gray? Because I don't think they're gonna put Ray McLeod out there. Juwan Jennings is out. Who's gonna play that outside
yeah,
receiver?
I
I would
couldn't
assume
tell you.
Danny Gray. I think right. Um, I'm gonna say Ray McLeod probably. You
Yeah,
know, he had that touchdown last week in the red zone. He found a way to come back to the ball, which is impressive. I think we'll target him a lot in the slot, but I think realistically, the biggest number two receiver for us is going to be George Kittle.
yeah.
You know, hitting him the most, but just from a strictly receiver standout, I'm going to say Ray McLeod. What about
I
you?
agree. I agree with
Yeah,
that. You know, that catch in the end zone was very impressive last week.
yeah,
And I think Christian McCaffrey probably has the most targets this week out of the backfield, though. Um, but yeah, I think it's going to be a tough week. You know, it would be funny if this is the week we see the 49ers offense finally put it together and score a ton of points. But I can't see it, but you never know with this team. Like you said, it's pretty much every given week with the 49ers right now who's going to show up, the good team or the bad team.
yeah,
And you know, we say it every week, Jimmy's going to give them one, and Matthew Stafford luckily likes to give you 1 to 2 to 3
yeah,
a game. So, you know, the defense really needs to capitalize this week and help put the offense in good positions because they usually can't do it themselves. So hopefully we get a couple turnovers this week. And I think that would be another key to winning this game.
yeah. I agree. Um, but I was watching the games earlier, watching them now too, and watching Justin Fields. I feel like he's gotten a lot better as the season has progressed. I mean,
Yeah.
in this game, he's had 151 passing, 2 touchdowns, and then 60 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. And I just feel like we got robbed. You know, we got robbed of seeing Trey Lance kind of get that progression throughout the season, and we got robbed of seeing Trey Lance just bring a different dynamic to our offense. Something that we're probably badly missing right now. I know we don't want to see him ran as much as he was at the beginning of the year, but like a couple runs here or there probably helps out a lot and probably gives our offense just a whole different look. Somebody that can make a play when they get the pressure in their face like we did last weekend. Instead of throwing that pick in the red zone, not saying that Trey Lance could have got out of that because Jimmy G is pretty much dead to rights, but who knows? Just having that dynamic there. I feel like we got robbed of seeing that from Trey this year, and it just sucks. It hurts seeing, second year quarterback Justin Fields getting better throughout the year, putting the offense on his back, improvising, making plays, which we should have seen this year from Trey Lance. But
Yeah, and it is awesome to see. You know, you see him get better every single week, and you see the way he plays, you know, becomes more refined every week. He's hitting the receivers that he wasn't hitting before. Um, he's running the ball with more purpose and intent and not just running it because he's not reading the field. And you know, the play calling is really shaping up better for him as well. You know, they're not
yeah,
having him stand in the pocket. They're actually calling plays to his skill set, which is not what I felt like Kyle Shanahan did for Trey Lance. And so
mm-hmm.
hopefully next year we see that better because, you know, QB power, it should not be run. You know, if you're going to have Trey Lance run, it should be on a play action passing play. You know, it shouldn't be just a designed run. And, you know, we'll see next year how that ends up going. But like you said, it is unfortunate to see um, Justin Fields, you know, looking like the best quarterback from that class at the moment,
Yeah,
by
that's
far.
what I was gonna say too. I mean, you
Yeah.
look at Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, who got benched last week. Zach Wilson's thrown like 3 picks or something this week so far.
I think
Justin
so is Mac
Fields
Jones.
has progressively gotten better throughout the year, and it's true, like you said. There's question marks about his accuracy, just his throwing in general. And if you watch this game, he's fitting throws in to like the tight end in the corner of the end zone, over DBs, safeties, linebackers. He's fitting them in. He's moving out of the pocket, making plays with his legs. It's just unfortunate because I feel like probably would have seen something similar from Trey.
Yeah.
Kind of starting out rough, but stick with it, and he gets better throughout the year. So it's kind of unfortunate to see. I
Yeah,
mean,
and even
unfortunate for us. It's good to see Justin Fields do good, but unfortunate for us as Niners fans.
Trevor Lawrence still struggling very bad as well.
I
They
forgot
had
about
that
him.
game in the bag and he threw that interception right to the safety in the end zone on that one drive. It was terrible. But two interceptions for him actually on the day as well. So, Trey Lance could easily
I don't know
have been
if I'm frozen or if
yeah,
Joseph's frozen.
you're frozen.
You can let us know in the comments if it's me or Joseph. It might be me.
You were frozen on mine.
Oh, was it me?
Yeah, but yeah, Trey Lance easily at this point could have been the number 2 or number 1 quarterback in the class at the moment, but that's postponed another year. So, any last minute expectations for Jimmy G in this game? What are you expecting from him today?
Uh, it's tough, man. Because like I said, you just don't know what you're getting with the guy. Um, I'm gonna say 2 passing touchdowns and an interception.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
all we need from Jimmy is a clean game. Play a clean game, no turnovers, and we could win the game. But I don't know if we see that today, especially with, the lack of Debo Samuel. That's kind of his comfort zone, against the Rams. So maybe he tries to force something on like Jalen Ramsey and he throws a pick, kind of like he did in that NFC Championship game. He was trying to force some stuff, and he almost threw
yeah,
a couple picks. Um,
yeah.
but
And
hopefully the
it was really Debo making those plays too. Like you said, it's Debo on the screen play, taking it 57 yards. Debo on the slants, taking it to the house. Even that one play to Debo in the last game when we played the Rams, it was Debo that made the play on that ball because everybody thought it was a bad throw or like should have been a pick, but it was Debo that
yeah
made the play. So without that, how is he going to respond? It's going to be interesting.
yeah, and I really do expect to see Christian McCaffrey in like the Debo role this week, so that'll be fun to see at the very least. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's all I got for this pregame primer. If you're here, subscribe. We're trying to hit 150 subscribers by mid-season, which is next week, correct for us? Or is it this
Yeah,
week?
something after that
It's
next week.
yeah, between this week and next week, 150. I believe we're at 143 right now, so we're almost there. Um, yeah, so subscribe. You got any final closing remarks?
Uh, just let's, like I always say, let's hope for health. Can't afford any more unfortunate injuries, of course, knock on wood. Um, but I just want to see a win. We've had a couple rough weeks. I mean, realistically, this whole season has been rough, but let's just see us put it together against these Rams in our division game, big game, people on the hot seat. I would just want to see us put it together and just come through. We need this dub. We always play good relative to Halloween, so hopefully that plays a factor into it. Like our dad says, I feel like Shanny needs to have a good game today as well. Definitely, if he has a bad game, then we're screwed.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so that's all I got.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.